G'day, welcome to the show. Soul Covers here, back off a 3-1 night, but a frustrating night where we finished down money. That's the only thing that matters. We lost our max bet of 5 units, over 233.5 in the Pelicans and Grizzlies game. Just a frustrating bet there. We walked into that game with 7 points of CLV. We walked into the second half with I'd say about 12 points of CLV. That live total was at 245 at halftime. It got to as high as 250. And they finish on 211. They scored 90 points in the second half. Just a rough loss there. Nothing you can really do. And it does highlight the value of playing some of your bet back. Now, yeah, could have played a bit more back. As you see, we did play the under 239.5. Put one unit down on that. Maybe I should have put 2 or 3, but look, that's the value of playing some of these big bets back, especially when you think the line is going to move in your favor. We managed to salvage a not such a bad night. Could have been a hell of a lot worse if we just had that one max bet. We did salvage and recover pretty well. We had the Jazz plus 7.5 at Philly. They got the nice backdoor cover there. Love to see that. We also had the Kings plus 6. You know me, I'm a Clippers fan. I got the best of both worlds in that bet. Kawhi game winner, Clippers win, Kings also cover. Love to see that. Get the best of both worlds. So we've got a very big slate today. There are 12 games on the slate. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on Twitter as well. I'll tweet out all my bets before I place them. My best bet of the day has already moved. We've already got 7 points of CLV on my best bet. So that's no longer playable. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter for that. It was available just up above me at Salt Covers. Let's get into this 12-game slate. With a 12-game slate, it means that there are just going to be some games where we do not cover them much. We will just gloss over them because otherwise we will be here for an hour. Let me just pull up the right game. No, not this one. Here we go. And this is the game where we've got our not max bet. Well, we've got 4 units down on this game. Let's just get straight into it. The bookies open, or the rec books open this game at 228.5. We saw that. I was just like, damn, that's low for a Hawks home game. We know the Hawks, we see totals of 240 or north every other game for the Hawks. Hawks, 2nd in the league in pace, 4th in the league as an over team. Maxey is questionable, Trae Young is questionable. We don't like to see that. I would expect Trae to play. The Hawks are trying to get into that 7th or 8th seed, give themselves 2 chances at the play-in. Probably not going to get up to 6. This is a stat I really like. The Sixers, when they're playing teams that are top 10 in pace, 13-5 and 1 to the over. That's a great number there. We've got Philly, also a top 10 over team. They are a pace down team, but given all the injuries, I expect them to just play with a bit more pace. It's the only way they'll be able to score. Just get some easy baskets. Sixers also 17-11 to the over as a away team. 24-16 to the over after a win. Hawks 11-4 to the over as home favorite. 20-11 to the over at home. We've got this 4th best over team. Previous 2 games between these 2 teams have went well over totals that closed at 240. So why did this open at 228.5? We don't care. We played that for 4 units at 235 now. That number seems like a coin flip. I'd still lean over. Projected total at 237. Looking at the spread here, this opened at 8.5. Now at Hawks minus 10.5. That is a lot of points. That seems to be priced as if Maxi is not playing. I've got nothing here on the spread. If anything, I'd take a bit of ugly sixes to cover, but yeah, look, nothing from me on the spread. We've got to keep this pace up, just like this game. Next, we've got the Utah ass in Boston. Utah on a back-to-back. They just lost to the Sixers, but they got us the cover. Love to see that. Now in a back-to-back travel spot as 17.5 point dogs. 17.5. Projections at Celtics minus 18. Tatum is questionable. Horford is questionable. Could, Jazz starters, they have sat out the last 2 games. Could we see the Jazz bring their starters back? One thing that they've been doing is they've been playing like Markkanen, Kessler, Collins. They've been playing them against good teams in games where they're going to lose either way, and then sitting them against like teams like the Raptors and the Sixers. You know, it may be worth taking a flyer on Jazz plus 17.5. I'd wait to see if their starters get ruled in. You'll get a worse number, but the information is worth it. This is a bit of a sandwich spot for the Celtics. They are coming off a big primetime win against the Lakers, and they have OKC on deck for the next game. Total opened at 227.5, now at 229. Nothing from me here on the spread or total. Like I said, wait to see if those Jazz starters are playing. Maybe you could get Jazz at like a plus 15. Like Celtics, we don't like taking the Celtics as heavy home favorites. Let's move on. Who have we got next? We have the LA Lakers in Brooklyn. Lakers got a big injury report. Luka is questionable. LeBron is out. Jackson Hayes is out. I believe Dorian Finney-Smith is out. I know Rui is out. Let me just double check on Dorian Finney-Smith, because yeah, the Lakers, like they've got a lot of guys out. Yep, Dorian Finney-Smith is out. At the moment, at 6.5. This game opened at Lakers minus 5.5 at the rec books. Open at minus 6 at the sharper books. This game seems to be priced as if Luka is 50-50. Cam Thomas is out. Cam Johnson is in. For me, this is another sandwich spot for the Lakers. They have the Bucks and Nuggets on deck. My only angle in this game is if Luka gets ruled in and this spread gets out to like Lakers minus 10, I wouldn't mind a little bit of Brooklyn Nets at plus 10. Like Lakers coming into town, you know that's an empty arena for the most part. You know they're going to actually have some fans in the building. There'll probably be more Lakers fans than Nets fans in there. That's my only angle in this game. We also see a nice little edge towards the under here. 216.5. By the way, we've got 7 bets on today. So there's just so many little edges here. I just can't play all of them. I don't really know how to play into Luka not playing. It's like, yes, the Lakers are a lot better offensively with him on the floor, but he also just slows the game down so much. Takes 20 seconds every possession, but then they're also probably a bit worse defensively with him on the floor. Look, I don't know how to price Luka. Nothing from me here on this game. My only angle is if Luka gets ruled in, this spread jumps out to Lakers minus 10. It may be worth taking a flyer on the Nets. Let's continue.
One pair of pants later.
Okay, we are back with the Hornets in Miami. Like I said, always look out for these teams playing their first game in Miami for the season. The Heat continue to get respect from the market despite losing to the Bulls. They've lost 4 of their last 5. Spread opened at Heat minus 10, now at Heat minus 9.5. Projections at Heat -12. Hornets in a bit of a letdown spot here. They did have a nice come from behind win against the Nets. They also played the Cavs really well. Third game in 4 nights for the Hornets. Out of the two sides, I'd lean Heat, but I just not enough to back them. Looking towards the total, though, is where I have 3 units down on under 216. You can actually get 216.5 right now. Projected total at 209.5. So a nice edge there towards the under. You'd have to think the Heat will just bring it on defense this game. LaMelo Ball should be playing. Don't like to see that if we're betting the under, but look, we have 2 pace down teams. We have the Hornets, who are the worst over team in the league. Hornets are 15-11 to the under as road dogs. Heat 20-13 to the under after a loss. Duncan Robinson is questionable. He's important for the Heat's offense. He's also a traffic cone on defense. I'm looking for the Heat to really clamp down on the Hornets. Hornets have a bit of South Beach flu. Hopefully breaks our way. This number is still available. We've got it down for 3 units. Go and get it. Next we have a few baseball series on today. First one is the Wizards in Toronto again. Wizards in Toronto, where the Wizards had a nice win. Now we have another one of those spots where in this baseball series, the home favorite loses outright. Generally in game 2, the home favorite is a nice bet to cover, and the under is also worth a sniff. Here we see spread has moved a little bit towards the Raptors at -7 now. Projected line at Raptors -5.5. Marcus Smart is out. Chris Middleton is out. Look, am I betting the Raptors as 7-point home favorites? No, and neither should you. The total, though, is quite interesting. So we saw the rec book open at 228.5. We saw the sharper books open at 232.5. When you see these big line jumps, like very early after the totals have been posted, lines have been posted, it's important to differentiate between sharp movement and movement towards the numbers posted at the sharp books. Say, for example, the Sixers and Hawks game we covered earlier, that total opened at 233 at the sharp books. So yes, we have seen it steam up to 235, but most of that movement is just moving towards the lines released by your Circas, your Pinnacles, or bookmakers. So yeah, I've got nothing here on the spread. Just can't do it with the Raptors laying 7. It's just too many points. Total, yeah. This one is one that I'm keeping my eye on. As you can see, projected total at 225. In this spot where the home favorite loses outright in the game 1, the under is 53%, so a slight edge there towards the under if you're just blind betting every single under. We saw both teams play really well offensively that first game. Wizards have been playing better defensively. Let's just try to refresh this line, and it is still at 232. This is one I'm keeping my eye on. If I do see like your circa move it down, maybe I'll play the under. Make sure you go look out for my Twitter. Let's keep it moving. Next, we have the Pacers and Bulls. This is going to be very short and sweet. It's very simple. Oh, we have seen some bit of line movement here. Tyrese Halliburton is questionable. We have seen this spread move from Pacers -5.5 to -4.5, now to -6. It's simple. Tyrese Halliburton is in. This is a Pacers spot. Bulls first game home after 2 nice wins in Florida. This does seem like a little bit of a letdown spot. It now seems to be priced as if Halliburton is probably going to play, yet the total hasn't moved. He's definitely an over player. We saw how the lines moved with him being out in the 2 Hawks games. Those 2 totals just plummeted. Again, I like the over here. I like the Pacers here if Halliburton plays. I haven't bet anything on this game yet. Neither should you until you see if Halliburton is playing. Pacers, after a loss, are 17-7 to the over. Vucevic is questionable. I actually like the over and Pacers better if he plays. Nothing from me as of yet. Again, Tyrese Halliburton, just so important to these teams. Let's move on to the Orlando Magic in Houston. This is a very interesting game. Van Vliet and Suggs continue to be out. Amen Thompson is out. That's a big one. Rockets opened at... Sharper books opened at 5, now at 4.5. We do see a nice edge here towards Houston, but I can't lay 7.5 with the Rockets. They just haven't been good in 2025. Total, looking towards the total though, we have played an under 213.5. Put that down for 2 units. Projected total at 208. Magic are an under team. They are the second worst under team, second slowest pace team. Rockets also an under team. More of a pace down team. We've got 2 top 5-ish defenses. I know Magic are second. I think Rockets are like somewhere between maybe 5 and 10. I like the under here. You can still get it at 212. I'd play an under 212 for something smaller, but if it drops any further, just stay off it. Next. What have we got next? Another interesting game. We have the Phoenix Suns in Memphis. Both teams on a back-to-back spot here. Both teams traveling as well. We have the Grizzlies traveling from New Orleans. Don't get me started on that Grizzlies-Pelicans game. I chickened out on wanting the Pelicans in that game, and then we lost our max bet on the over. Suns coming off a win in Dallas. They did cover, but we saw sharp movement towards the Mavericks. Projections got this at Memphis -12, which, yeah, the market has pulled on the Grizzlies quite a bit. 1-9 against the spread in their last 10. Is this a spot to buy low on the Grizzlies? Look, if they had Triple J, sign me up. This is another game though where I want to see where the sharp books move. At the moment, spread open at 5, now 5.5. Let's see, and let's just have a look at some of these sharper books. We will be back in a moment. Okay, so the sharper books are at 4.5 as well, juiced towards the Suns. So as it stands, we've seen a bit of market movement towards the Suns. Just not touching this game. The Grizzlies just need to prove it. That was a bad win against the Pelicans. They were down by 10. This team just has not been good defensively, so instead we look towards the over, where we've got a projected total of 248. This game opened at the rec books at 242, opened at the sharper books at 244. We have seen a little bit of movement towards the under at the sharper books. Now we've seen it go back up towards the over. We have picked up a over 242.5, played that for 2 units. The over is 1-2 in this series, yet every single game in this series has seen sharp movement towards the over. We have Memphis 7-4 to the over with no rest. Suns 8-5 to the over with no rest. Suns also 22-11 to the over on the road. If you can find a 243, go and play it. We played that for 2 units. Who have we got next? Yeah. Oh no. This will be a fun game. Game 2 between Dallas and OKC, where OKC, they got the cover. They got the cover against the Nuggets in that Sunday day game. The total went under, even though projections liked over. We didn't play the over because we know how these Sunday day games go. Now we see this open at OKC minus 9.5, now at 9. So seen a little bit of a push towards the Nuggets. We saw that in the last game as well. Went out to OKC minus 8.5. It closed at OKC minus 7.5. Jokic did tweak his elbow. I would expect him to play. Gordon left the game. I'd expect him not to play. We saw this total open at around 239. We started to see some of the books move towards 240 and a half. We picked up an over 240 for 3 units. Now, do I love this ticket? Now seeing the total sitting at 238. No, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't like that ticket. Let's see where the sharper books. Yeah, they are at 238 exactly as well. Do I love this ticket? No, but for me, seeing the last game, that was some very interesting movement on the total. Opened at 240, went as high as 244, closed at 242. So always like playing towards the closing line of the last game is always the right way to go. 2 pace up teams, 2 over teams. OKC been scoring over 125 points like nearly every game for the last 10 games. We need Denver to pick up the scoring a little bit. I expect this next game to be a bit faster, being a Monday night game versus a Sunday day game. Projections do like the over at 244. Not feeling great about this ticket, but we are letting it ride for now. And as for the spread, I've got nothing for you on the spread. Next, we have Dallas in San Antonio. The rec books opened this at 225. The sharper books opened this at... Let's get Dallas on my screen. There we go. The sharper books opened it at 229. If you got a 225.5, congratulations. I did not. I've got absolutely nothing on this game. We've seen the spread move out a bit towards San Antonio. Charles Bassey is still out. Since I don't know how to price Charles Bassey being out, let's just get on to the next game. We have the Portland Trailblazers and the Golden State Warriors. The people's Portland Trailblazers. I swear everyone loves the Blazers. Yeah, this is a big spread. This spread is just telling you to play the Blazers. This is a Blazers line. Blazers coming in off a back-to-back where they lost at home to the Pistons. Warriors also played the Pistons. Warriors got the win. Pistons got the cover. Yeah. I don't know how to play. I don't know how to play this spread. You see the projections here. It has Warriors minus 8.5. It just seems fishy. It seems like a time where you can just. I don't want to be buying Blazers stock at the moment. Instead, one angle to look at is the total. Interesting. So, we see the projected total much lower than where it is currently sitting at 233. So we've seen the sharper books open it at 232, now at 233. Projections do love the under here. Portland are 8-2 to the under with no rest. As road dogs, they are 16-12 to the under. I do like the under here, but seeing the market move towards the over. I don't have anything on this game as it currently stands. Maybe if I see the market move back towards the under, maybe I'll get around it. Like I said, follow me on Twitter. I may tweet out some bets after we stop recording. Let's get on to the last game. This line is just begging you to take the Blazers. Last game on the card, we have the Kings and Nick. Spread opened at around a pick'em. Now sits at Kings -2.5. There have been some -3s pop up as well. They are back to -2.5 at the sharper book because they were at -3 at one point. This is just some spread movement I do not agree with one bit. Like, the Knicks don't have Jalen Brunson. You know, I think like the last one, it is kind of begging you to take the Kings, but like, I agree with it. Like, yeah, projected line at Kings -3.5. Kings do have Monk and Sabonis out, but Monk and Sabonis versus Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson's more important to the Knicks than Monk and Sabonis are to the Kings. Now, I know Kings in a back-to-back spot, coming off an overtime game, definitely a spot you want to fade. Like, in general, you want to fade a team coming in off an overtime game, but Kings, they need every win they can get. They're fighting to try get out of the play-in. Yeah, I just don't like the way that this Knicks team looks without Brunson. I've got a Kings moneyline ticket at 2 units for $2.05 plus 105. Where the numbers are currently, I still like the Kings here. I don't care that the market has moved towards the Knicks. I would just take the Kings +2.5. We saw the Kings lose by 1 the following night, so just take the points. I would take Kings +2.5. If you can get a 3, even better. I also have the under 223. Now, we see the projected total at 232. That number does account for Brunson, Monk, and Sabonis being in. All 3 of those players are definitely over players, so no surprise here to see the total. This total opened at 226. This game went to overtime, and it immediately started shooting down. We picked up an under 223.5 for 2 units. Where it is at the moment, wouldn't play into it. I still do like the Kings money line or the Kings against the spread. Where the numbers are currently, I would take Kings +3 if I can find it. So let's get into our best bets, where we have got 7 bets on the card. We've got a lot of action on today. Let's get the odds screen off. So we have Charlotte in Miami under 216. That number is still available. Projected total at 208. We expect the Heat to play better defense. Philly at Atlanta. We sniffed out another bad line. Will it matter though? Who knows? Hope so. And I don't think I'm going to play anything back on this as well. Like 228 for a Hawks home game. Are you kidding me? We also have the Nuggets at Thunder over 240. Got that down for 3 units. Do I love that bet? No. I'd say if you're like watching this, see if the number has crept back up to 239, 240. Currently sitting at around 238, so we've got a minus CLV ticket there. Don't love that. We picked up Orlando at Houston under 213.5. Got that down for 2 units. Currently around 212.5. I'd still play that for a smaller bet. We have the Suns in Memphis over 242.5. Got that down for 2 units. Now around 243. If you can find a 243, go play that. Knicks in Sacramento under 223.5. That total is now at 219. Wouldn't play into that. Also have the Kings money line, 2 units. Minus CLV ticket on that, but we still like the Kings. At current numbers, would play them at Kings +3 if I can find one. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter, guys. And until next time, let's get them books salty.